If you're interviewing for a partner level lateral position, particularly at firms that take business development seriously, at some point in the process, you're going to be asked to present a business plan, not a casual conversation about your goals, a formal discussion, often with multiple partners, where you lay out a vision of what your practice will look like at the new firm, how you'll build it, what resources you'll need, and what outcomes you'll deliver. This is one of the highest stakes moments in a lateral process. It's where you either demonstrate that you think like a business owner or you reveal that you're still thinking like a service provider. And most attorneys, even very accomplished ones, are not naturally good at this. I'm Andrew Wilcox, legal recruiter since 2003. Today, I want to walk you through how to prepare for a partner level business plan discussion, what to include, how to structure it, and how to deliver it in a way that shows you're someone the firm should invest in. So, what is the business plan conversation actually about? On the surface, the firm is asking you to forecast your practice, to tell the story. What will your revenue be? Which clients will you bring? How will you develop new business? But what they're really assessing is something else. Do you think strategically about your practice? Do you understand the economics of what you do? Can you articulate a vision and a plan to execute it? And critically, are you someone who will take ownership of your own success or someone who will need to be managed? The business plan is a test of business sophistication, and the attorneys who pass it are the ones who prepare seriously. So, you went to law school. Let's talk about the components of a strong business plan, though. Your business plan should address 5 areas, and this doesn't need to be a 100-page document. Sometimes it's just a few pages. But client transition, client development, new business development, resources that you're going to need, and realistic financial projections. So let me walk through each one of them. What I find attorneys do when they have a strong business plan is it helps to create a requirements document and it helps them evaluate, is this the right type of firm for me as well? Are they going to have bill rates that align, cultures that align, practices that align? This is where you'll be able to qualify firms out as much as qualify them in. So now, back to it. Client transition. Which existing clients do you expect to transition to the new firm, and over what timeline? Be really specific. Name the clients or the client categories if confidentiality is still a concern at this stage. Describe the work, estimate the annual revenue, and explain your level of confidence in the portability. This is where you show that you've done the hard work of evaluating your book honestly, putting honest measurement percentages to it. Firms respect attorneys who have a realistic, well-supported view of what they could bring. They're skeptical of attorneys who overpromise. Client development. Which existing clients do you expect to grow at the new firm and why? Are there clients whose relationships are currently limited by your firm's capabilities? Clients who need services you can't currently provide, or who operate in markets where your current firm doesn't have a presence. This is where platform matters and where you articulate how the new firm's capabilities will let you expand relationships you already have. Now we're going to get into new business development. Where will new business come from and how will you generate it? Be specific about your plan. Do you have industry relationships, bar association leadership, speaking engagements, and thought leadership? Cross referrals from partners at the new firm. Former clients you've stayed in touch with who haven't needed you recently but might in the future, or you were conflicted out. Firms don't expect magic, but they do expect a plan that's grounded in realistic activity, not just wishful thinking. What are you going to need from the firm to be successful? An associate to support you? A paralegal? Access to specific practice groups for cross-selling? Marketing support for a particular initiative? office space in a city where the firm has a presence, but you haven't worked before. This isn't a demands list. It's a resource plan that shows you've thought about what it takes to execute your vision. Firms appreciate specificity here. It shows you understand that success requires investment, and you're being transparent about what that investment needs to look like. What will your revenue trajectory look like in 2 years or 1 year or 3 years? Getting into your financial projections. The last 3 years are typically what firms look at, but I often say that's like a mutual fund prospectus. That's not indicative of future performance. So break the projections into categories: client transition with high confidence, client development, moderate confidence, new business, lower confidence or longer timelines. Show the upside and the realistic base case. Firms don't expect you to predict the future with precision. They expect you to show that you understand how to think about revenue projections with intellectual honesty. So, how do you structure that presentation? If you're presenting this formally at some point, which is more common at larger firms or in a more structured recruiting process, here's a framework that works. Start with a brief context setting section: who you are, what your practice looks like today, and why you're considering this move. This should be 30 seconds to a minute. The audience already knows this, but you're framing the conversation. Then move into the substance: client transition, client development, new business, resources, and projections. Spend the majority of your time here. This is where the value is. And when I talk about value, when you do get to a negotiation on your salary, the stronger your business plan, the more leverage you have in your negotiations, because now they don't have to risk adjust some number that you have down. They have an idea of what it is that you're looking to build, what it is that you're able to transition, and how strong of a case that they can make in compensation for you. So close with a summary of what success looks like, what your practice will be in 3 years if this all works the way you hope it will. Paint a picture of the future that's ambitious, but also grounded. Make them excited about the opportunity to invest in you. The tone you should strike is confidence, but not arrogance. You should sound like someone who's thought carefully about this, who has a plan, and who's ready to execute. But you should also sound like someone who understands that plans involve uncertainty, that success will require partnership with the firm, and that you're not making promises you can't keep. Firms are attracted to attorneys who are ambitious and self-aware in equal measure. So there's questions that you should expect once you've presented this. They're going to push on your portability assumptions. Be ready to defend why you believe certain clients will follow you, what that transition process will look like, and what could go wrong. They're going to ask about competition. Who else is pursuing these clients? What makes you confident that you can win? Are there other people at your firm that you're leaving that they believe that they would be able to keep that client? They're going to ask about risk. What's your downside scenario? What happens if the transition doesn't go as planned? If you prepared seriously, you'll have answers to all of these. If you haven't, the conversation will expose that very quickly. And I'd say the single most important thing to get right, above everything else, your business plan needs to feel real, not aspirational. Don't AI this thing. Not a pitch designed to tell them what you think that they want to hear. Real. Firms have seen enough of these presentations to know when someone's inflating their numbers, or overstating their portability, or underselling their resource needs to make the deal look easier than it is. That kind of dishonesty, even well-intentioned dishonesty, destroys trust before the relationship even starts. Tell them the truth as you see it. Show your work. Be realistic about risk and uncertainty, and make it clear you're ready to be held accountable to the plan you're presenting. That's the business plan that leads to successful partnerships. I'm Andrew Wilcox. This is the Lateral Lawyer Brief. If you'd like to have a confidential discussion about your career and goals moving forward, please email me at andrew@wilcox-legal.com. As always, grateful, Andrew Wilcox.